I think it's appropriate today. This guy started in this business about the time I was born, and he's about done. So I think it's done a great job his whole career. I grew up reading his stuff, so I think it's appropriate to give Lee the first question today.
You've been involved in a lot of opening games as a player, as a coach, from high school to the NFL. What's your biggest, oh my God, I didn't know that was going to happen moment from a first game? What, do you have one that really sticks out in your mind?
The one that comes instantly to mind, I got drafted in the 3rd round by the Jets to play safety, a position I never played before, and we went to Philadelphia to play at the old vet in Philadelphia, and I had to return the opening kickoff. I didn't even return kickoffs in high school. Kickoff return was the only team I didn't play on in high school, and remember catching the kick, and I was all fired up. I'm going to take this thing back to the house, and I broke right and broke back upfield, and somebody went low in front of me, and I jumped, which is a bad mistake when you're returning a kickoff, and got absolutely ear-holed and destroyed on my first play as a pro. I wasn't ready for that.
Scott, talk about your decision to name Adrian as the starting quarterback. What made you decide on Adrian?
Yeah, I think it was close. I think a bunch of guys in that room have improved and done a really good job. Quarterback's no different than any other position. We picked the guy that we feel gives us the best chance to win. It didn't matter who we picked. We were going to be playing a quarterback that hasn't taken a live football snap really in 2 years. And that experience certainly would help them if they had it. They don't have it, and we're gonna ride with it and go. We don't really have a choice, but I thought it was a close battle. Several guys did really good things. At the end of the day, we picked the guy that we felt gave us the best chance to win.
How did Tristan take the news, and how's he handling it right now?
I think that's to be determined. He took the news initially really well, but we have to see how it plays out. Certainly, every single guy on our team we're going to care about and want what's best for him. We want guys that want to be here, and hopefully everything lands in a good position, but I think that's to be determined.
Did he practice today, Tristan?
No, he didn't practice today.
Did that surprise you?
Like I said, Tristan's a great kid. There's been several players that have chosen not to be a part of the program, and some of the decisions I agreed with, some of them I didn't. No matter what, these are good kids, and we want what's best for them. We preach that we care about the kids, and if they make a decision that doesn't involve us, we'd be lying if we didn't help them and act like they're important to us. So we're always going to do that. On the flip side, our team is always going to preach team before me, take care of the brother to my right and my left. And I think I want players on the team that are actually about that. And whatever kids are on the roster come first game, those are the brothers that I want to roll with.
A year ago at this time, you're coaching Central Florida, and nobody expects to happen what happened a few months later. What kind of feeling do you have 5 days before this kickoff? Is there any sort of feeling like that you have about this team this year?
You know, it was a work in progress down there. It's going to be a work in progress here. I've said that since I got here. I know how far this team has come. We're light years ahead of where we were in January, but we still have to go play. Sometimes when you're playing with a new offense, a new defensive scheme, new coaches, everybody together for the first time, there's going to be mistakes. We're going to live with the mistakes and roll through them. Those particularly happen when you're playing young players, and we're going to be playing a bunch of them. We're going to try to limit them as much as we can, not let them drag us down, and move on to the next play. We got enough talent. We've made enough improvement to be really dangerous. We got to execute well and take care of the football.
Scott, just how do you feel about your QB situation with Andrew if Gebbia is not around, and just how prepared he would be to be the backup, I guess?
Well, I don't really want to address ifs yet until it happens. The quarterback situation as a whole, it's not ideally what a coach would want to have. I think Matt Masker's taken a live football snap more recently than anybody else we have on the team right now. But I know we got talented kids and we trust them. And we're like I said, we're going to roll with them. They're going to have our 100% support, whichever guys are here and whichever guys are playing, and we're going to work our tails off to get them ready and help them play well.
Why does Adrian give you the best chance? What did you like about what he did? You can't.
I think several guys, Adrian and Tristan in particular, threw it well. I think Adrian's athletic ability was probably the factor that broke, if there was a tie, that broke the tie. Both guys have done a great job learning it. You know, Andrew did too. He was right in the mix until we had to get closer to a decision. So I think at the end of the day, we're more dangerous if we have a quarterback. If the throwing is close, if we have a quarterback that's a threat to run it, I think our offense is better.
Coach, I got to ask, does that surprise you Tristan didn't practice today?
Yeah, I don't want to get into it until I know what's going on. Tristan's been a really good teammate and a good kid, and we want what's best for him. And I hope he's here at the end of the day.
Scott, how much, if at all, did 2019 and beyond factor into this quarterback decision?
2019 and beyond? Not at all. You know, it'd be different if we had a senior and we were starting a freshman instead of a senior. We had 2 freshmen. So whichever guy won it was going to be around here for a long time. We were hoping the backup would be around here for a long time. I know going through it a couple years ago that we're going to get some really good play, but I want whoever's playing to understand that there's going to be mistakes. They're not going to be perfect. We're going to work through those, and getting experience early really helps you down the road. But we're not thinking ahead at all. We want to win games this year.
A lot of Husker fans experienced last year, and a lot of people think maybe 4 or 5 wins this year. What do you have to say to that?
I don't care what they think.
What can you tell us about
Akron was they're a good team. They were in the MAC championship last year. I don't think the season probably finished for them the way they wanted it to. I think their coaches do a really good job. I think there's good schemes on both sides. I know they're returning. I've watched their defense more, and they're returning, I think, 9 starters on defense from a team that helped them get to their league's championship. They do a good job mixing it up. It's a little hard to dial them in. Expect them to come in ready to play. So we have to be at our best, and like I said, we have to execute well and take care of the football.
Scott, do you feel like your team is game ready right now, or how valuable is this week ahead to get all the things tied up that you need to before Saturday?
We got to have a good week of practice. We preach to the guys all the time that you don't show up on Saturday and all of a sudden play good, play well. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday determine how well you're going to play on Saturday. We win the game or lose it today and tomorrow and Wednesday. I think Saturday is just a reflection of how well they prepared. We had a good start to the week. Tuesday and Wednesday are going to be vital for us to make sure we're executing the game plan well on both sides. We're as ready as we can be, and I feel confident about where the guys are.
Coach, do you have any suspensions, disciplinary stuff for week number 1?
Not that I know of, not unless you did something last night that I don't know.
Once, guys, you're going through depth chart conversations. What do you see as Breon Dixon's role?
Yeah, Breon's a guy, and several guys, I think, that are good enough to play for us, but have a redshirt year to use. And if we don't think they're going to be on the field enough to merit burning a year, then we're going to be smart about it. The 4-game rule, still being able to redshirt, the new rule is going to change things a little bit, where there's going to be more guys than normal kind of on the bubble, and we won't have to make that decision now. We can make it down the road depending on how much they've played and whether or not we need them at a position. So there's a few guys that I think are capable of playing for us, but they're a little bit down on the depth chart right now, and if we have that situation where they're not going to play a lot, then we're going to try to save the year for them if we can.
Is Aaron Williams, I know he's a senior, but he has a redshirt year left tackle. Is he right on the line, or are you just going to go ahead and roll him out?
No, Aaron needs to be a player for us. DBs, I think we got some good depth there. He's definitely a part of that. We're going to need all those guys to show up and play.
Scott, you've had obviously some big coaching moments throughout your coaching career, going back to Northern Iowa, to Oregon, and now here. I mean, what happens on Saturday night here for your first game at Nebraska? You've been able to kind of ponder what this all is going to be like for you, and just how important this is for you.
Yeah, to be honest with you, once game day hits, I have my head down and I'm working. I wish my job allowed me to stop and smell the roses a little more, because it's going to be special running out on the field in front of the home fans again. But if if I'm doing my players a service, then I'm locked in on game plan and calling the game and getting our guys ready to play. So hopefully there's a moment somewhere where I can stop and take it all in. But we want our players to be all business, and the coaches need to be all business as well.
A couple players did mention that when you brought in Grant and Jason a couple weeks ago, they saw it even a change in you, like how much you appreciated those two guys being there and how much it meant in that moment, just the Nebraska tradition and history. Did you kind of feel it in that particular moment?
When you're away from guys like that for a while, you forget how much passion is there. Grant and Jason's passion for Nebraska football was evident even the other day, and it's inspiring to be around that kind of passion, guys that care that much, guys that are willing to lay it on the line that much. And maybe it's just the past coming back to me, but they pushed my buttons. I was ready to play after I listened to them talk, and I think a lot of guys took their talk to heart.
Do you have leaders that are that good on this team? Yeah.
I don't think we have leaders that are that good. I don't know how many Nebraska teams in history have had leaders that are that good. And we had them on offense too, on the offensive line with Aaron Taylor and some of the guys. A team's the strongest when coaches don't have to get involved. When players are the police of other players, when players are holding each other accountable. There's absolutely no question when Grant and Jason were here that if you got out of line, it didn't ever get to the coaches. It was going to get stopped in the locker room. We're starting to develop that. We got some guys trying to step into that role. But I think that's a piece that's been missing for a while.
Is that trio of interior linemen, Gerald, Cole, Tanner, have they taken some ownership, at least on the offensive side of the ball?
Yeah, particularly Gerald Foster. He's going to get the guys in a huddle if he needs to. We're going to run a play again because of those guys if we need to. But it needs to extend past the practice field, and it extended past the practice field with guys like Grant and Jason. I think we're getting there, but I want to see those guys step out even more.
Did you decide how you want to handle captains this year?
No, we're going to talk about captains this week. I don't know if we'll have 4 full-time captains or we'll rotate it among guys that are deserving, but I think we're going to meet on that as a coaching staff here early this week.
I don't think we really asked you about Tyron Ferguson throughout the offseason, but he was on the top line. What have you seen about him, from him since spring to now to get to where he is?
Ferg is a work ethic guy. He's come to work, done his job, put out effort as well as anybody on the team. He's earned his spot. When depth charts come out, particularly the way we practice with as many reps as we get, there's very little decision making among the coaches. There's very little we have to decide. The decision's already made by the number of reps that the guys get, and in almost every case, the players can see it too. And so the guys that are on the top line of that depth chart have earned that, and I think every coach and every player can see that.
What's your definition of success in year one?
I've talked about this a lot. I want improvement. I want improvement from practice to practice, improvement from game to game. I want us to be better in week 2 than we are in week 1. I want week 1 to look better than week 12 last year. We do that, we're going to land in a good place. But other things I'd mention, I want to see a team that's going to put out effort no matter what and fight no matter what. Up 21, we need to be playing harder. Down 7, we need to fight harder. And fourth quarters need to be on point. We need to be a physical team. I want to see passion, I want to see togetherness, and I want to see a bunch of guys playing for each other.
I'm not saying this game will come down to the field. What do you think you have in Barrett?
I like Barrett's mentality. He doesn't seem like a guy that's going to get rattled. He's done a good job kicking all fall, so excited to see what he can do. We're going to be playing a lot of young guys and see how they react to the environment the first time on Saturday. Kicker's one of them. Hopefully his first kick's a PAT.
Are you a coach that tries to coach their mentality, or do you let them do their thing, or how do you approach that?
No, I stay away from kickers kind of like I try to stay away from reporters. So.
You listed 4 running backs on the depth chart. How do you plan on kind of rotating those guys and utilizing the different guys and their strengths in the game plan?
I think it'll be a game-by-game and situation-by-situation thing. We got several guys that I think are capable of going in there and making plays for us. I imagine early on there'll be a rotation, and we'll kind of decide before a series who's going in, and then we'll substitute in the middle of a series if a series gets long or we need somebody that's better at something else. So all those guys are going to get touches and get playing time, and if somebody's playing better than somebody else, they'll get more work.
So Miles Jones, he's more of a running back now, and that's how you guys have him listed?
He's going to have to do both. We'll play him in the slot some and get him some running back touches, and hopefully he factors in.
Adrian's a really mature kid. Is it easy to forget that he's a freshman?
No, you know, we've known Adrian was very mature for his age for a long time, really since we recruited him. Getting here in spring was essential for him to be where he is. I think that allowed him to get used to college life, get used to campus here, get used to a little bit of spotlight, get familiar with things around here. It certainly helped him land where he is. But he's going to need that maturity. You know, there's going to be a lot on his shoulders. I've lived that life, and I'm sure there'll be some mistakes and some lessons that have to be learned, but he's earned the chance to go out and prove it, and I can't wait to watch him play.
Does his maturity remind you of any of the quarterbacks you've coached and recruited in the past?
Certainly doesn't remind me of me. Way ahead of me. You know, Mackenzie's probably similar. Thought Mackenzie was ready to play as a freshman. He just didn't have that spring ball. Got hurt a little in fall camp, so he was a little behind. But when we got him out there, boy, you could tell right away he was a playmaker. There were some mistakes, some freshman mistakes that were inevitable, but he was the best we had, and he just kept getting better to the point of being one of the best players in the nation in year 2.
Scott, how do you plan on managing your running backs here?
Yeah, we'll see. You know, I think we'll pick a starter, but then it'll be a series-by-series deal, and if there's somebody that's better at any particular thing and that we're going to run, we'll try to get the right guy on the field.
Scott, when you were a quarterback under Coach Osborne, he wanted to bring in a backup quarterback, have some quality snaps instead of up to we continue that here.
Yeah, anytime you can get a backup quarterback some meaningful snaps, I think it's important to do it. You know, the difference is we're going to be playing a guy without experience, so our starter needs experience too. So I don't think it's something that we're going to force to happen in the first or second quarter, but if a game dictates and we have an opportunity to get somebody else some reps, I think those reps will be valuable too.
When did you know that Adrian was the starter? Was there Thursday, last week?
It was probably last week, middle of last week to late last week. I told the coaches we weren't going to decide right now, but I kind of took a straw poll of who everybody else thought. That was after Mario and I spoke and Coach Walters and I spoke, and it was pretty clear at that point. Wanted to see it play out yet, and like I said, I give credit to both guys. They've done really good things, but it was consensus among the coaches that we thought he gave us the best chance.
Are you going to change anything in terms of your staff's game day roles, who's on the field, who's calling plays, who's in the box, that sort of thing?
No, the only thing that might get us to change a little bit is the new headset rule. We're limited to number of headsets because I think there's some people out there that probably have more coaches than they're supposed to have coaching on game day. We'll try we'll be compliant on that front, but as close as we can keep it to status quo, the better for us, so that we can all operate in a way that we're used to.
I know there was some conversation about altering the travel roster numbers and getting those up, and that would have to be done by this week because there's a Big Ten game this week. Have you heard any update on trying to get more than 70?
Yeah, we just heard this morning. I wanted to make sure I could say it, but we just heard this morning they're going to bump the Big Ten travel number to 74. I think that's a good idea. If you change the redshirt rule and we can play redshirts in 4 games a year, you know, most likely those guys are going to get limited reps on offense or defense and play on a special team or 2. It'd be hard to travel those guys and use those guys in one of their 4 games on the road with travel restriction of 70. So that'll give us some freedom to take some of the guys that we need to get experience in a limited fashion at away games as well as home games.
Have you thought about your first play call?
Not yet. We've been grinding on the game plan through the weekend, and will today. We go over call sheet and what we're going to call when on Thursday. So we'll probably make that decision Thursday.
Are you more likely to go vanilla or to make a splash?
Do you want me to just draw up the play for you so you can put it on the internet for Akron? No, we'll make a decision based on what we think can work.
1 or 2 more, Thar?
What's your overall feelings on the Big Ten this year?
It's a great league. I've admired the Big Ten coaching from 2 different leagues now. I think last year the Big Ten was arguably the best in the country. I think the bowl games kind of proved that. I think there's some elite teams at the top and a lot of other teams that are good enough to beat you anytime and closing the gap on some of those elite teams. So this is going to be a highly competitive league, and we're excited to compete in it.
Do you think are your corners good enough and experienced enough to play the defense the way you want to play?
Yeah, I felt great about the DBs all camp. Again, I give those guys credit because that was a position that I was worried about coming into fall camp. I think there's been increased competition at some of those spots because some of the new guys that have come in, some of those new guys are going to play, and a lot of the guys that had been here did a good job stepping up and holding on to their jobs and improving their play. So we've gotten really good play out of the secondary. A lot of credit to Coach Fish on that front, but feel good about where those guys are going in the first game, and I think that could end up being a strength for us.